will they be able to sustain it going forward for every Premier League game, or maybe more? Is it sustainable? Let us know your thoughts and comments in the show. But for now, we have to go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we have more for you. Don't go anywhere. We have a surprise guest to unveil for you as well when we come back from the break.
How have you been?
Yes, then we are back, and yes, I told you that I had a surprise guest for you, and guess who is in the studio with us once again? Surprise, surprise! Who is it? Nice, none other than Isaac Opoku, aka the landlord of Ghana Football. Landlord, welcome. I'm rather going to give me the welcome.
You're welcome from your sabbatical leave.
Yeah, we miss you. You went to Charlie.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but it's always good to have the landlord of Ghana Football, Isaac Opoku, with us. Landlord, we're talking about security presence, and then just as we went on break, we talked about, or we heard about the Galatasaray and then Fenerbahce security presence that is in their league. Over 3,000 security people or security at the Galatasaray Stadium. That is Fenerbahce, and the game ended in a stalemate in the draw. So, is it where we are picking our cue from 3,000 policemen to Ghana 200 and we are complaining, we are saying it's not sustainable? Are we being maybe looking down on too much on our police force, and or it's clearly not feasible?
Thank you very much. Let's greet our viewers watching us live on Facebook and also CLOG TV. We are always great. We miss you a lot. So, since you left, Benito and James were deliberating. And as you said earlier on, right after the break, you were on social media checking. And Nana, I'm not surprised about this 3,000 policemen at Turkey, because we know Galatasaray and Fenerbahce very well. The tension behind these two teams is very. That
is like a Hearts and Kotoko.
In Turkey. So it's the Turkish version of El Clasico over there. So I think Nana, football has changed. As I always tell you, we don't want a situation. We are going home. We hear that people is dead and those kind of stuff. But I mean, my issue and my problem is most of the time this said the fans a lot. Because it's not like but the facial expression of the police people will cause fear and panic.
But one would also say that if these policemen are not there and then there are issues, for instance, a case in point, the police issue case study for all these security concerns when it comes to Ghana football. If the policemen were not there or are not armed and they are not fully equipped, let me just put it that way, and an incident like Nanapoli occurs, we are going to talk about it. So if they are there, why are we then complaining about intimidation?
We are not complaining, but if you are there to prevent chaos, prevent a fight. If there is no fighter, you are good to go. So your facial expression, last week I told Benito, say, in Europe, this security personnel, they don't watch the match on the pitch, they watch the fans. But in Ghana, they're watching the match on the pitch. I'm starting to be corrected. They were watching the match on the pitch. Once you're supposed to watch the people. Now, when you watch football at Stamford Bridge, like the supporters, it's all part of football. So we are learning one step ahead. So we need the people on board. Kudos to.
But one would also say that those are like the stewards, and then the policemen are always on standby for maybe emergency situations.
So now Ghana, we don't have stewards. So I think our policemen serve as stewards and also security personnel on the pitch. That's how it is, because mostly I know the stewards also prevent chaos when it happens in the stadium, but we are in a learning process. As Friday, we played a video where our GFA president said this thing was there to 2019, but because of police death in our young, so it's a learning process. It's a gradual process. We are learning. So as time goes on, I'm sure that these police people will work hand in hand with the to educate the supporters very well. That is my whole problem. Education is a key, and we should educate the police people too and the supporters, because anything can happen. The police people are at the stadium, but still now there'll be a chaos. Education is a key thing in everything that we are doing.
But yes. Thing in everything we are doing, that's what landlord on that particular one.
I've been advocating about this thing because irrespective of the heavy security presence, funds orientation is one of the important aspects we should be tackling, because police yet say yanye funds in adwene at a point in time the police's presence can't solve the happenings of hooliganism or chaos. But if the funds are properly oriented, they would know that it wouldn't be proper or it wouldn't be nice to be causing chaos at various stadia.
All right, so that is where we are at the moment. Champion funds to be properly oriented, or admonishing footballers and then football fraternity for fans to be properly oriented so that chaos at the stadia. Now we'll turn attention FA Cup, where we had some surprises. Teams who are not in the Premier League were knocking down teams in the Premier League in the round of 16 of the FA Cup, MTN FA Cup. We are now down to 8 teams. Well, 10 teams. Two teams are yet to play for us to find the final one to make out the 8. We have the MTN FA Cup, the results up there, and surprising. How to
yeah, we are out.
Mediama SC out. Okay, so and then there's this other one,
Young Apostles,
as well. So these are teams that battled. I mean, Young Apostles actually played against Carolina United, who are maybe, let's say, are not too far from where they've been performing. But now, let's look at the results. We have Atram Devese 0, BBN Gold Stars doing very, very well in the Premier League. Have topped the Premier League for most part of the season before, until just 3 weeks ago, Kumatas and Toko toppled them at the top of the Premier League. But Atram Devese from the Division 1 to sort of kick them out of the Ghana of the MTN FA Cup. That is by 4-3 on penalties. The game ended 0-0 after extra time, and then it went straight to penalties. Atram Devese held their nerve and were able to score 4 penalties as against BBN Gold Stars 3. And now on Sunday, so that was on Friday, 21st February, we had quite an entertaining and enthralling MTN FA Cup weekend. We had Golden Cake FC versus Hearts of Oak at the Legon Stadium, and then University of Ghana. That is Golden Cake after regulation time 0-0, after extra time 0-0. Golden Cake 4-3 once again. Hearts of Oak. A lot of people may not even know where they're coming from. Someone may have thought that it's going to be a walk in the park for goals or 4 goals because the pedigree of Accra Hearts of Oak. And recently also they battling it in the Premier League. One would have thought that they would have easily, but then again they couldn't. Another Premier League upset, Mediama Sporting Club against Park Academy. Park Academy also in Division 3 or Division 1. That is, they played 1-1 after regulation and extra time. Park Academy beating Mediama SC 4-2. Berkum Chelsea were the ones who started making the sunshine on the Premier League teams, and by beating Northern City by 2-1. Carolina United 1, Young Apostles 0. That's also another feather in the cap for Carolina United. Techiman Youth 0. Bichem United FC, another Premier League upset. Going through, although it was an upset, but going through, we would have actually said that Techiman Liberty Youth wouldn't have been able to Bichem United, but they did. And in the last game, the Pele's Nania FC were also knocked out. Through democracy, they showed them that it is indeed the game for the people, of the people, and by the people, through democracy. By 5-4. So now, Benito,
and why?
Which one was the most surprising?
The most surprising scoreline was Mediama versus Park Academy.
Yes.
Because for Mediama to be eliminated at their own backyard, that is at the TNA Park, it was the surprising one.
And at this part of the Ghana MTN FA Cup, because not long ago they were winners.
Oh, sure. So they had gone 10 games without a defeat at the TNA Stadium prior to this game. For Park Academy to sail through with penalty shootout, it wasn't surprising because I had opportunity to watch that game, and with the excerpts that I watched, it means that this Park Academy side came in with all their nows, and they were, but Mediama, one way or the other, they had a bit of inconsistency with their system of play and everything. But for Park Academy to advance at the expense of Mediama, I thought that the MTN FA Cup with the slogan, it's gradually picking up. This isn't the first time we've seen these off-guard results or upsets, because over a period of time, it has been happening, and so it was clear indication that those clubs in the Division 1 probably might have had different idea about the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Since I'm in the Division 1, you are the Premier, we wouldn't be meeting at any point in time or at any level. So this is the opportunity for us, yes, to show our exploit. And so for Park Academy to win, personally, it was a surprising scoreline for me. But kudos to Park Academy for that particular victory.
All right, so kudos to Park Academy for that surprising victory. Landlord. Folk. Heartbreak.
I think it was a very disappointing result on social media. I was watching that game very well, but I wasn't surprised about Hasselhoff leaving the MTF because I work for a coach. What Tara said, it nothing worked for them. They were playing the game as if nothing was at stake. As if they were playing a friendly match or something like that. But as Benito said, this Division 1, Division 2 people, when they are playing against this big giant now, one, it's a justified inclusion for the players. Because if he performs very well, he'll get a contract. And also, the whole world is watching this game. So I was really surprised about their performance. Initially, when I thought the game was on penalties, I knew it's okay, Hasselhoff will win, but that is football for you. But it's a game. I didn't know why Hasselhoff didn't pay so much attention to it, because when you win this FA Cup, you have to qualify to the CAF Confederation. So, I could see today in Africa this season. But what I saw yesterday, because when you go home,
I mean, clubs can have bad days. Actually, maybe depict the fact that they are going to be successful or not.
This FA Cup is meant for players who are on the bench who don't get much time to play. So Masai was a good player. Kojo Biya played. Ramsey played. Maulu played. Hamza Issa played.
Everyone. In fact, he missed that decisive penalty. Said Amofa.
Amofa.
Yeah.
So now everyone played. So this one is not by a bad day. So, but what I saw yesterday, you are not ready.
All right. So Pewela not saw yesterday. They were not ready. Down into the last 8, and then it looks like we would have 4-1 in the last 8. Also, one game to go. Benito, would you touch on that one before?
Yes, it tells us that the death of Pole caused so much to the point that even with this particular game, most especially with Hasselhoff's game, I wasn't surprised that they've been eliminated, because they started a week or two prior to the game.
Yeah.
And so how to gain match fitness was even a problem for Hasselhoff. But then with this Division 1 and Division 2, they had their matches played on. So at that point, they will be having exactly. So it isn't something refreshing to have only about 4 Division 1 league clubs at this point or at this level of the MTN FA Cup. But then we saw a similar thing within last season.
Yeah.
They were just 2.
Yeah.
As of this time, with last season's
so they've improved by 100.
It tells us that the Premier League clubs, I can't really tell, but probably that resumption from Pole's situation, maybe might have had similar or probably something on their fitness level.
Okay, so now the question that we are asking everyone is, do you think a Division 1 club can win the MTN FA Cup this season?
It is possible. Oh yes, it is possible.
Landlord.
I agree with him 100%.
So if you have to mention a club from the top of your head, let me just put you on the stop. In 3, 2, 1.
At this point, with those who I want to understand your question.
Yes, so among those who have qualified, right? In 3 seconds, you're supposed to mention one that you think we can win.
I think Atram Division.
The team that beats Nania, what's their name? Is it True Democracy?
True Democracy, yes.
Yeah, I think they are. They
Interesting there. So yes, if you're we are telling you that we're live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can go on there and then you watch CLOG TV and then comments and then your questions for us. You can also send us a text via WhatsApp 0500500421 0500500421 and then we'll read your messages for you. Now let me go on WhatsApp quickly to read some of the messages that are coming in. This one says that my name is Papo. I'm watching you. Papo says he's watching us live. Papo, we see you too. And this one says, Kobe from Soto, I'm loving the show. Keep the fire burning. We have Manuela Tamaklo also watching us. So we have Verity also watching this particular show. It's interesting there, isn't it? Quite a lot of people. It is. I'm getting a lot of messages, but let's not waste our time or let's not dwell on the messages here. Let's go on to what we have next, which is highlights in case you the rest of the world in terms of football and in terms of what transpired. Don't worry, we got you covered. So don't go anywhere. Sit back and relax.
performances and other stuff. But I knew that irrespective of every situation, Manchester City would try to prove a point, but then not against this revived Liverpool team. And you know, I've told you on many occasions that personally, Mo Salah is the greatest African player to have graced the English Premier League. That's my point.
Well, he has to have the titles to show. Didier Drogba is currently leading in terms of titles.
I understand, but with his numbers.
Salomon Kalou.
But with his numbers.
Yaya Toure.
But with his numbers and his influence.
His numbers of the wing are maybe arguably the best even in world football. But when you look at a player like Yaya Toure and his impact at Manchester City, transitioning from the early Manchester City to the current Man City we do have now, setting the pace in terms of the quality of outputs and all that. So it's actually.
I think Mo Salah has won like Champions League with Liverpool.
Yeah, once.
English Premier League. So I think, as Benito said, I agree with him 100%. And look at the Liverpool team.
No, we were talking about the English. My producer has been telling me that if we go on, we're going to go on and on and on and on until we. So let me just get through on social media and get some of the messages that we are having. This one says that NY, I'm Fred from Nungwa. I agree with Benito 100%. Benito, I think you're getting a lot of credit from the people watching us. This one is also saying that from Dansuman, Daniel from Dansuman, he says that Mbappe for Ballon d'Or, that's an early shout. Well, the Ballon d'Or talks, we are going to go on and on. But unfortunately, this is how, or this is what champions, and I've been doing a wrap, and we'll see you again soon. Don't go anywhere. Arrivederci.
CLOG TV. Beyond the CLOG TV. Beyond the policy.